a book and you're trying to like pin me down on quoting a book.
Let me watch this again and see if I'm doing that.
Stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said I wanted a myth for my people to live by. Yeah. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish.
So then you say, but here's what they do.
And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
Right, but they want to make it like more horrible.
But they want to make it more horrible.
That they can control people.
So that they can control people.
Right, but
Nick Fuentes agrees.
This interview doesn't get better for her. Welcome back to Ran-DomU. It's go time.
Optimus, maximize!
I'm pretty sure by now most of you have heard of just Pearly things. She is the griftiest of grifters who has fully infiltrated the manosphere, solid snake style. She has tricked and bamboozled many brothers to turn themselves into sly coopers. If pandering was a person, she would be the face of it. She has also insulted Black history many times. And dare I say, she has even made fun of a man with cancer. Now that was really low, and she's delivered many Rochambeaus. But we're all about to watch her career go, go, go. And up in smoke. It's just a matter of time before just Pearly things completely falls apart. Just like this interview with H3H3. It went off the rails. Here's clips.
Family violence was the cause of 25% of divorces. So I don't think it's fair to characterize that as some kind of like super fringe example of why people get divorced.
Well, but you also have to look if there's incentive structures in place where there's a lot of false accusations in family court. And a lot of people don't know this, that family court is actually based off, it's not based off of evidence, it's based off a balance of probabilities.
False. It is based on evidence.
Okay.
And it's not to say, like, slavery was a horrible institution, but I can't talk about that fact without getting canceled. I can't say, hey, these slaves had a good relationship with their owners
because
without getting
canceled. Because it's not true. Because it's just not true. It's not true. What George Washington was not a father figure to his slaves.
Well, if you look up, like, I think it was Booker
47, let's see, 47 of George Washington's slaves tried to escape. Would you try to escape if you loved your master?
maybe that one was wrong. I don't know. This was like a little bit on a podcast months ago. I don't really remember, but and I said I wasn't sure if it was Washington either in that interview at some point. But
well, George Washington
what I'm bringing up is I'm not even allowed to have this conversation without. What do you mean
not allowed?
Not, but I mean,
majority of divorces nowadays, it's just, when the girl just feels like leaving.
That's not true.
So and well, it's
just not true.
I've talked to hundreds of women.
The abuse of power and the risk for abuse and for people to get stuck in a horrible relationship situation, not just for them but their kids, right? I mean, obviously having your kids watch their mother get beat up, and oftentimes it's going to bleed.
Or the kids get watching their father get beat up. Like, it goes both ways.
I acknowledge that it goes both ways. So both people have a right to, in my opinion, get divorced, because the alternative is one of the partners being stuck and like
do you think that's the
majority?
Do you think that's the majority of cases?
A majority of cases of what? Divorce?
Of divorce.
25%. 25%.
What?
It's 25% based on statistics.
No, but that's not what's in criminal court. It's like less than 10%. Actually follow through in criminal court.
Well, regardless, 10% is enough, don't you think?
No, I said less than 10% of the abuse cases of the 25%. So that's like.
Point simply put, any percentage would be enough.
Journal of Family Violence in 2014 found that approximately 25% of divorces in the United States involve domestic violence.
Right, but again, that's because the woman says that she was, because their incentive.
Okay, but you're just saying stuff. You're just saying stuff. You don't actually know that to be true.
No, I do.
How?
I do. Like, okay, in the UK, there's a law that you get a free lawyer if
Sorry, but how does that prove that women are lying about violence?
No, because I'm saying that you can't prove it unless they go to criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, where family court is based off of a balance of probabilities.
Which is also evidence. You can't just say your partner beats you without evidence. She's just saying the same shit. This girl's fucking stupid.
Indeed, because we have all come to see that she cannot form any actual original thoughts. Everything that she talks about is just manufactured by some other fake guru out there.
That you can't prove it unless you go to criminal court, because family court is based off of evidence.
Right, but they're not going to jail. It's just about the welfare of the kids, and the people.
It's a crime if you're falsely accusing someone of abuse. And so I'm saying there's no, you can't. They only prove it in less than 10% of cases.
Okay.
In criminal court, because criminal court is based off of evidence, family court is not.
She just keeps saying that, bro.
Now, some of you may have thought I chopped that up for it to be put on repeat, but I swear to you, it wasn't. She is literally just regurgitating the same point over and over and over again to you, just like Dr. Umar Johnson does when he repeats the same point 3 times consecutively, just so they can keep hammering it into your head, just so they can keep trying to force you to believe their ideology. And it's just not working. Now, Just Pearly Average already has a history of doing this.
Live site, but you can see she's wearing the same top that she talks about the false obesity statistic, and you can see the date here is 3/14. Destiny corrected her much before that, so just wanted to show proof of that. When I was doing research, I also happened to have made a note about the timeline because I had a feeling that she was regurgitating the statistic even after she was corrected, and it turned out I was correct, so just wanted to post the proof in here.
You ever notice that Pearl is very much just like MLD in the fact that she's always questioning the fact that abuse happens, or the significance of it, or the fact that it happens at all? It's like, it's just a little bit of beating, hey, just a nice little sledgehammer to the head, that's cool. Maybe it's because she's the classic one-trick pony, the pitcher with one pitch, the basketball player with one move, the one-dimensional football player.
Now me, I'm not selling anything.
Based on what I know through observation, her particular target audience is a male. This is where Pearl's content and marketing sits. She is constantly hitting pain points and triggers. The challenges and the pain points for her particular customer, client, and fan is not being heard, not being seen, not feeling valued, and not having access to women. So she talks about this constantly, right? And she's talking to women, right? Women which this particular customer, client, or fan does not have access to and wants access to. One way to draw in this particular customer is to continue to hit this customer's pain point over and over and over.
Now, I know this is random facts, excuse me, Ran-DomU, but let's get back on track.
You also said George Washington was viewed from his slaves like a father. I guess that's part of what the myth, I guess, is that not all slave owners were evil. Some were father figures like George Washington.
Yo, this editing is crazy! Yo, this editing is crazy!
Did you say that?
I don't remember.
Of course you don't.
I think if someone's a great and powerful man in history to the point they're talking about him hundreds of years later, he didn't have any kids. But
did he own slaves?
What?
Did he own slaves? George Washington?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no romance to me. I'm just saying.
No, it's actually interesting.
Now, Sarah Garvey says, that's no real man to me, a man who owns slaves. I can respect that, as I would expect a lot of other people to. But Pearl finds a way to justify it, or tries.
He had a different, he inherited his slaves, and it wasn't as simple as he could have just let them go, because the debt that's incurred on them, you can't just release them. And so his slaves actually, he had a really good relationship with them, and they considered him like a dad.
Yeah, she said that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your source for that?
That was from a Thomas Sowell book.
You'll soon recognize this is the only author she's ever read a book from.
Thomas Sowell. So he's your guy. Thomas Sowell's the man.
There was a time where I started to read accounts from actual slaves. So these were I can't really talk about this. Even if I talk about this now, they're gonna clip it. They're gonna say things I didn't say. But it's like, I used to read actual slave accounts, and I was surprised how many didn't say bad things about their owners after they were free.
The naivety, the lack of awareness, whatever you want to call it, to be able to utter such a statement should be enough to make people understand that they should unsubscribe.
But I was quoting a Thomas Sowell book. So.
Okay.
Who's that?
Yeah, so Thomas Sowell is an author who talks about the history of slavery. So.
But do you agree with that premise that slavery was embellished, or no?
I think that there are parts that are under embellished, and there are parts that are over embellished. I think it just depends what we're talking about.
That's so interesting. I've got to know what was over embellished about slavery.
I know you just saw what he did with his eyes.
Got to know what was over embellished about slavery. Gotta know what was over embellished about slavery.
This is like Ethan's like, I know what white people can't say. Now say it. You've activated my trap card. See how excited he is? Tell me what you don't like about blacks.
Just like one example, I'm dying to know.
Yeah, I just rather, I mean, I was talking about a book that I read, and I think to understand the context, you'd have to read the book.
But you just said some parts were embellished, some parts were under embellished.
I just, again...
Are you retracting that?
I'd really just rather not.
Okay.
Got him. We fucking got him.
I really didn't think this was that hard. She's having a tough time with this one.
Dude, no, but slavery being embellished, that's so interesting. I don't know how you embellish it.
There are certain facts that we're not allowed to talk about.
Like what? I would love to. We're doing the taboo. We're mixing it up. It's red pill, baby.
Hey, shout out to Ethan on this one. This one's funny.
Yo, he's trying taboo topics.
I genuinely want to know how it was embellished.
Yeah.
What can't we talk about? Come on.
I mean, I could show you.
Come on, cancel yourself. Come on, do it.
I'd rather not get into this, so.
She's trying not to sink any farther than that submarine. Ew.
Sounds like a blue pill attitude to me.
This motherfucker baiting. This motherfucker baiting.
Beta, baby. Beta girl.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping this was like a good faith interview.
Wait, what's bad faith? I'm literally showing you clips of you saying stuff.
Yeah,
she's out there thinking, I mean, come on, yo, like we both white. Help me out. It would be no different if it was black people or any other race probably, but that's what I see here.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What about this interview has been bad faith?
I just think you're kind of trying to push an agenda, and you're not. Yeah,
Doesn't your platform push an agenda?
I think you're trying to push.
That's a clip of you saying that.
Because I was talking about how the founder of Thomas Sowell talks about how the guy that made Roots talked about how it was a myth for his people to live by. Okay. That's what the guy who made Roots said, Alex Haley.
Okay.
So, and I can't even talk about that on a podcast without being canceled by the internet.
Yeah, but mythology...
That's not true. People do this all the time. Hell, they do it on national television now. Can you have an intellectual conversation that's actually smart enough to avoid saying anything that's crazy?
That's the fact.
Just because mythology is like culture,
right, but I'm
history.
saying that doesn't mean the way it's depicted in the movie was how it actually happened. And that's what he was talking about on the book. But again, I was quoting a book, and you're trying to like pin me down on quoting a book.
Let me watch this again and see if I'm doing that.
Stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said I wanted a myth for my people to live by. Yeah. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish.
So then you say, but here's what they do.
And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible.
Right, but they want to make it like more horrible.
But they want to make it more horrible.
That they can control people.
So that they can control people.
Right, but
Nick Fuentes agrees, but
wait.
This motherfucker knows what he's.
I mean, she brought him on. She got to eat that. Let's keep watching.
Wait, oh my gosh. 5 minutes before I say Sohel talks about this in his book. So I'm communicating in the interview that I'm quoting an author.
you're not being honest.
Like,
Once again, you can't just take clips, take quotes, quote them, repeat them out in the air, into the public, on YouTube, anywhere, and just expect people to be like, oh, okay. No! You are going to be held accountable for those things. You can't just sit here and be like, well, I just read it from a book. F you. I don't give a damn where you read it from. Shut up about it if you don't believe it. If you don't believe it, it ain't going to come out your mouth. Shut it.
Honest. You say they do this to. Okay, so you disavow. Just disavow it then. That's easy. Just say I don't think slavery was embellished. I mean, that's super easy. That's like a layup. Do you agree? You know what I mean? It's like just say you don't think slavery was embellished.
I think.
It's just a quote. It's just a quote. Well, your quote. I don't give a crap about your quote. If you don't believe in it, shut the f up.
There are certain facts that you're not allowed to talk about. I don't really want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm just asking you, do you agree with that statement? Barack Obama is comparable to Adolf Hitler.
Okay, maybe this one will be easier.
No.
Okay. See, it's not hard. It's not hard. That's awesome. That's easy to do.
T for the class.
You notice how confused she was trying to answer those questions? Well, maybe this will kind of give a better breakdown of why she was so confused and couldn't rationalize her thoughts.
I feel like when men love women, it's like women have more conditions for them to be like really in love.
For a man to love a woman, she does not have to jump through as many hoops and meet as many requirements as for a woman needs to love a man.
Just like Fresh and Fit, Pearl spouts a lot of the same double standards that promote sociopathy, especially in teaching men to have destructive behaviors.
Let's move on to something else. Isn't Pearl the girl who's always talking about 27 is about the age that you're about to be outside your prime?
Picky.
You're single over a certain age, you're probably too picky.
And I say that it's because she's too picky because she claims that 28 years old is pretty old to be getting married.
Excuse me, 28. I think this number's starting to grow and go higher because of her age and the fact that she hasn't settled this man situation.
What do men value? Third thing men value, youth. How are they getting youth when the average age of first marriage for women in the US is 28.6 years old?
Pearl is lucky if she can get married by 28 years old because she's 26, and even if she met Mr. Right today, you would still usually have to be engaged for at least a year, and then usually people, if they're going fast, wait another year before getting married, putting her at 28 years old if they're going fast by today's standards. And Pearl doesn't have much long-term experience in dating either. According to this interview on Yahoo News and what Pearl says online about her dating experiences on various podcasts, she's only had a couple of boyfriends.
And it really doesn't help that she's 26 going on 40. So this chick who's always talking about women hitting the wall is starting to age like a grape sitting out in the hot sun. The other day on Mike TV, please subscribe to his channel, link will be left in the description. Well, I discovered a video that Pearl had deleted off her channel. I wonder why.
So post-slavery, black people experience a rebounding.
They're starting to make some progress. There's ambition.
Progress.
Yeah, and I mean, if in terms of books to read, like because a large part of what I'm trying to do in general is really let's move to the place of all people are created equal. Like, let's remove all these stupid distinctions, right? And really.
I just want to note, post World War II is 1945. What else have we been going over? What happened in the 60s? It's all about like power, I think. Anyways, this isn't.
I would say it was like that. Maybe further along, it may. I don't know.
I'll show you. What percent of black people do you think vote Democrat in the U.S.?
A lot.
Do you think it was always like that?
No, because didn't the Republicans used to be Democrats and vice versa?
Well, Republicans freed the slaves. Why are they voting? Why are they voting for Democrats?
I think that black chick to the left has just realized how embarrassing of a performance she has just delivered on that podcast. Which, quite frankly, I don't think I blame Pearl for wanting to delete this now. I mean, this is terrible. I mean, the fact that she was just on there has just hurt whatever product she was trying to put out there. So you couldn't use her for anything else in the future. Like, quite frankly, this would damage anybody's product. So I don't blame her for deleting this. It's just terrible. But there's more to the conversation.
Wasn't the Republican Party technically the Democratic Party? I don't
No, the
remember.
parties never switch. That's just something they say to, like, yeah.
So they never switched.
No.
No. Really?
Come on, y'all. This 26-year-old woman from the Midwest is gonna educate us here today. Y'all wanna know something that's funny? Y'all wanna know something that's funny?
She deleted this video. That's what's funny.
That's what it was after World War II. That's when abortion was legalized. That's when the father was like all those things.
So the black community was on like an upswing.
Yes.
And then
they had higher marriage rates than white people. There was accounts of slaves traveling across the U.S. to try to meet up with their family at post-slavery. Yeah. And
Oh my gosh, Pearl wants us to believe that because someone who used to be a slave can travel and take a trip across the country, we've made such progress. So much progress. So much progress we have overcame. That slave who used to only be able to go to the plantation and maybe the corner store for massa, now he can take a trip across the country if he wants to. Such progress.
But clearly, there's something that Pearl didn't want to be revealed anymore in that video. There's more of that video available on Mike's station, just you have to watch the live stream. I've also been thinking, whatever happened to all those Sly Coopers who were out there caping up for just Pearly Average? Where are they? Now, MTR was smart enough to distance himself from Just Pearly pretty early, but even his commentary on this matter was a little sus.
Actually, I think we should ban divorce too. Yeah, I think that should be banned. I would say ban divorce.
So banning divorce means that when you decide to get married, you are not allowed by the government to leave your significant other in any situation.
Yeah. I just think that if you want to leave, you just shouldn't get married.
If you're saying you're not allowed to get divorced, so we're talking about like, what if the relationship is physically abusive?
Yeah, I think if it's physically, this is the problem though. All right, if it's one-sided physically abusive, okay, fine, divorce. We can allow divorce for those exceptions, but like I've even talked to people that work at like abuse centers, and they say that the majority of abuse is mutual. So it's not just one side's hitting the other; it's like mutual. So
surely that's not everything.
I think.
Yeah, if it's mutual, both should think about leaving or divorcing. And I think like this banning divorce, I don't agree with banning divorce, but there is a point to be said there that there's people who get married and they're thinking in the back of my head, yeah, I could just get divorced at the end of the day. I got a homegirl of mine whose exact thought was that. And as soon as I heard that, I thought to myself, okay, you're going to be nothing but for the streets activity because of the crazy ass modern woman feminist mindset that you have right now.
Who cares if it's mutual? Why does that even matter? If it's mutual, both of you should be trying to get a divorce.
Yeah, that's my point.
What you think like, well, this proof lower in family court? Sure. Doesn't mean that you don't need evidence. You can't just come and say, oh, he beats me, and have no evidence. You have to document stuff. You have to go to the police. You have to have reports. You have to have medical documentation. You can't just go to court and say something happened, and then all of a sudden the courts believe you. That's not the way it works. They're going to need phone records, text messages, emails. Why do you think when people go through divorces, they make such an effort to keep records of conversations, of dates, affidavits, witness testimony? Why? Because the balance of probability is based off of that evidence.
What I think Abba fails to realize, and maybe this because he's a Canadian citizen, is maybe a little bit different up there, is that within America, men generally have the burden of guilty until proven innocent. Irrespective of the balance of probabilities, there's an air of being a man which can weigh a jury, which can weigh the judge, whether male or female. For this example, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. she ruined his life, getting him removed from screenplays. And it turned out after all of that, she was the abuser. You see, media picked up that story because they love the story of the woman busting out of her cocoon to be strong enough to come out with the allegations, the Me Too. There's this air within American media that we cannot currently circumvent, and a lot of people today actually refer to that as the Matrix. But let's keep going.
First of all, what you fail to understand is that Amber Heard did not ruin Johnny Depp's life. Johnny Depp ruined Johnny Depp's life when he chose to be with Amber Heard. Also, what you fail to realize is that this guilty until proven innocent mindset comes from a fact that most of the time these guys don't ever go to court with any evidence. I don't know the stats, but I do know there's plenty of cases where men just don't show up to court, or when they show up to court, they don't have any records of anything to prove of why they should be the custodian of, well, not custodian, but why they should be the one that parents the child. And it's not because he's Canadian, it's because you're playing victim of the manosphere. Also, Amber Heard lost, and she has to pay back money she doesn't even have.
Here's the thing. She's basically telling people you get your ass beat, which I think like 20 to 25% of all marriage divorces are actually citing reasons of abusing them. So yeah, when she says this stuff, she's basically handcuffing people to dynamics in which if they don't take the father of their kids or the mother of their kids to court and send them to jail, they cannot leave. Do you know how many people are going to have to stay in relationships because of that? Do you know how conflicting it must be to marry somebody, to be in love with them, to find out they beat you every day, and now you got to go through the process of sending them to jail, fucking up your kid's life, fucking up your own life, going through the trauma of having to take someone to court and testify and sitting. That's a lot.
Here's why I disagree with Abba in that situation. 9 times out of 10, and I don't have any data to support this, you're not just finding yourself in a marriage with an abusive person. You just missed out on the red flags. See, it's not a if then that. It was a if, and you noticed some bullshit was amiss, and you said fuck it, and you went into that marriage with that degree and level of toxicity. If that's your particular case, and if it's not a one-sided thing.
Okay, mediocre tutorial and reviews, whatever. You really think that people can always tell the signs of somebody's going to change after a relationship starts? That's absolute bull, man. Like there's no way you can predict absolutely 100% of everyone's future behavior. No one knows anyone to that degree. No one. People can switch. People can switch literally in mid-moments.
There's a lot of memories, a lot of emotion happening right now, but I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be able to play this game for my great-grandfather, and I'm glad that he's looking down on me, and I know I'm making him proud.
You said this ball's for him?
Yeah, this is for him. Another thing, stop playing us, man. We the Detroit Lions. We the Detroit Lions. Stop playing with us. I don't even watch TV, but I heard everybody already pick the Packers over us. Stop playing with us. That's all I gotta say, man. Don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
I love watching Jamal Williams play, so I had to use that clip.
You should have married the person in the first place. Like, there's no talking to these people. No. There's no logic talking with these people.
They don't understand that people change over time. Like, not everybody goes into a marriage as things are fine and things don't change afterwards. Like, people change. And just because that thing comes out later, you didn't see the foresight, doesn't mean you should be locked into a relationship where you get beat by your partners. I want you guys to think about what you're advocating. You see your parents, one of your parents should stay getting beat by the other every day, and you should witness your parents get their ass beat because they chose to marry the wrong person. That's what y'all really saying. Y'all willing to let your moms or your dads get beat up by their partner, show up abuse, and potentially even die one day, because a lot of this stuff does lead to death, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because they chose the wrong person. If you guys really can look at your parents and say they should stay through that kind of situation, kudos to you. I could never.
I understand, but again, we're removing the accountability of the choice to get in a relationship with that person. Take me, for example. I'm never going to transition into beating a woman in a relationship. There's certain types of men, there's certain types of people that would never transition into doing stuff like that. However, there's certain other types that would, and there's certain women that we get in a relationship with. That's why I tell these guys ad nauseum, if she's play fighting and hitting you and you don't check her, and this is like something that she does, more often than not, that will transition into a for real fight from her physical in nature into the future or even into the marriage. You have to be able to look at the key indicators and the red flags regarding these people within these relationships. And all we're saying is, well, what I'm saying is, because I don't ride for that Pearly bullshit, all I'm saying is that where is the accountability from the person that is making the decision? Where's the accountability for that? I agree, though. At the point that the parents are married and that's your mother and your father, okay, she chose incorrectly, but let's not play like it wasn't something that she didn't recognize earlier within that relationship.
Okay, MTR, whatever. You just said it wasn't about the choice, but you just said right then and there, it's about the choice. So you're still making the same argument they're making for you. You think at the end of the day, people need to choose right the first time 100% of the time. Every time it's like, well, you still should have did the vetting. You should have known more. There were signs. There was red flags early. They were doing the little play hitting. Dude, there's been plenty of chicks that play hit people and they never had an abusive relationship. That just happens. People joke around like that. But you want to act like, no, those are just signs. No, dude, you're trying to talk around in circles, man. I can't sit here and stand for that. Like I can't hear you talk about this. I know you're not trying to defend Pearly, but you still seem like you're coming up from angles to be like, she's not as bad as y'all think. There's still this elitist mindset that you keep coming from, this judgmental aspect that you keep coming from, like you need to choose right. People need to vet better. Dude, you cannot predict people's behaviors 100% of the time. People change up after the dynamics switch. They just flat out do. So I'm getting sick and tired of hearing all these red pill guys act like they don't. Like people are always the same person as they were before the relationship started as they are afterwards. They're not, man. That's nonsense, and stop lying. You know you're lying. Are there times that people ignore obvious red flags that were showing themselves in the relationship before it became official? Yes, absolutely. That does happen. But we have to stop acting like the overwhelming majority of people don't actually vet the person that they actually want to be with. There's a lot of creeping that goes involved. Not creepy creeping, but creeping. You know what I'm saying? Like where people are just doing their own personal investigation of the individual, seeing how they interact with others, seeing how they like them, seeing how they would probably be around their family, whatever it takes. People do their vetting. Some people just simply change once the dynamics shift and they find out, oh, this person might be mine now. They're nobody's property, but that's how some people view it. But where's Jason Black? Where's Melanie King? Where's Tommy Sodomizer? Where's Anton Daniels?
Yo, B. Taylor, I see you in the chat. Check this out, B. Taylor. B. Taylor, you know what's so funny about you? You want me to be honest about you? Look at your avatar right now. Look at your avatar right now, B. Taylor. Check this out. B. Taylor, if you spent more fucking time working your ass off and getting good content out there instead of live streaming and dropping videos sporadically here and there, doing that shit in your car, yeah, I studied your shit. If you actually did the things that she did and you worked your ass off, you'd be big as fuck. Pearl paid for a conversation. She pays to get consulted by the people that she studies and she's trying to understand so that she can capitalize off of it and win this shit. She paid to get a consultation from Kevin Samuels. She paid to get a consultation from the roommates. She literally puts herself in the spaces to try to understand and capitalize off this shit. And y'all sitting here saying same old shit that y'all been doing for the last 50 fucking years. And you wonder why you behind.
I wonder how she could afford such things, given that she didn't have any real job that anybody could list.
Number one, I'm sorry I'm not a brokey. My dad yells at me for accounting every month and I have to organize business expenses versus personal. So my dad does yell at me when I pull out cash because you can't see what you spend on.
Pearl reminds me of Pearl from SpongeBob, asking her dad, Mr. Krabs, for money.
How much is all this costing me?
Here's the receipt.
Oh,
Daddy, you got me everything I wanted.
She also reminds me of Mr. Krabs' daughter because he wants her to be a star and he's paying her way to do so.
Being a little YouTuber is tough. I'm really tired of being broke, Dad. In a quarter mile. I can't mooch off of you forever.
My little girl is finally a star.
Give me a K-R-U!
I'm sure that Pearl understands the real-world struggles of the average person from her 10-bedroom mansion.
You guys you want the house tour?
I mostly wanted to play that because it was funny.
A lot of people don't even know in July my bank account was in the negative. It was seriously in the negative, and even in November.
Well, I know because I talked to you.
Her tough and difficult upbringing has allowed her to get the skills that she needed to get through these tough times.
People wanted your spot from the very beginning. They thought that they the ones that should have took the mantle and all of this other type of shit. You never said nothing. You kept your head down, you worked, you grind, you hustled, you paid consultations, you tried to understand the business, you invested in your business, you bought more equipment, you traveled to people, you did interviews, you fucked with everybody, and you gave opportunities. And so now you know what comes with, you starting to see the differences between the people that rock with you and the people that don't rock with you. It doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters. At the end of the day, you need to focus on the thing that got you there from the first place, and you need to triple down on that shit. Grind, hustle, you know what I'm saying? Don't start falling on your laurels right now. Don't start entertaining the bullshit.
And where's Sneeko? Never mind, I forgot he got kicked off of YouTube. But after I'm done with this video, I guess people are going to be coming after me like this.
They say you're going to divorce, but keep going, bro. No. We gonna get them. Listen, you've sat down and you've ate off just Pearly things by tagging us, yeah? And your production is not our production. Our production is big out here. You get me? We have guests coming in. We have big sets. Arts blessing. You know what I'm saying? We have stuff. We go outside. We put people in black people's pockets. Yeah. So for two guys from wherever you lot from, because it's not from Haiti. Because if it was from Haiti, you would have spoke about it. Yeah. You would have spoke about what's going on in Haiti. But don't sound like that. Sound like you from Upsaw. So listen. Let me say something to you two guys. Yeah.
Damn. You just said you're not Haitian, man. First, this man trying to be like, our production's bigger than you. Okay, listen, bro. I don't know if you just took this out of like a Fresh and Fit playbook. We're like,
We are better than you niggas. Period. Right. We get more views than you. We've been on less than you. We cut our hair more than you niggas.
Okay, we get it. Like we hear it all the time. All right, you guys don't like the background, the floor creaks. We got a simple mic. Maybe we need to upscale the apartment. Whatever. You're better than us.
Do not mention just Pearly things again, yeah? Otherwise, there'll be more smoke, bro. I got bare smoke for you lot, bro. Both of you lot. I got smoke for Abba and Preach, bro. Preach a little bit less, but Abba, I got smoke.
I just turned 26.
All right, Pearl just turned 26. You lot are big men, yeah? And I've heard you lot say on your on your little review thing, yeah? You said on your own review thing, when I was younger, I used to do dinner, You lot are big men trying to tell, we got smoke for you lot, bro.
But bro, finish your sentences so we can actually understand what the fuck you're talking about.
Bro, I got smoke for you. I got smoke. You lot a problem. I got smoke for you.
Bro, it's not a thing. And I can, from one.
There's no DJ involved. Why are you scratching and rewinding my dude?
Okay, I think that's going to be enough for today. In conclusion, I don't really have much else to say except for, I guess Hafiz was right. He got clowned for weeks on YouTube and just vanished and disappeared. No more roommates or anything. I haven't seen them post in God knows how long. They just evaporated. Just Thanos. Just like that. So, no more roommates, but it seems like Hafiz was right. Red Pill is a cult. I mean, just think about it. Look at Fresh and Fit. Look at Aiden Ross. I mean, Anton Daniels. The Peace Network. It kind of makes sense. But, either way, thanks for rocking with me today. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, to the channel. So hopefully you enjoyed the content, and I'll be rocking with you soon. I got a lot more content out there, and thanks to the new subscribers that's been added to the channel. Thank you very much. Peace.